What's going on, YouTube? Bringing you today my 2013 Honda CB1100. Bought this thing used a little over a year ago, and from the moment that I saw the concept bike and then found out that they were putting it into production, unfortunately initially not for the United States, I still wanted one. And then Honda announced that it was bringing the bike to the US, at which point I was like, that's a lot of money for something that I don't really need and don't consider it as versatile as other bikes, such as my V-Strom, which can go down any road and carry lots of luggage. And this is just kind of what I would consider a roadster style bike, universal Japanese motorcycle. Definitely is versatile in its own right, but not something that I felt like I could justify spending 10 grand for a new one. Ended up selling my old V-Strom, wanted another bike, found this one used, bought it, love it, but found some things I needed to make some changes. Got, a few cosmetic upgrades. Got this little saddlebag for carrying a few little things. Aftermarket seat. Kind of gives it a little bit of a cafe look, but I just like it for additional firm padding and support. And engine sliders, adjustable foot pegs to get the rider triangle a little bit better. These are actually the lower OEM bars that they put on like the Japanese market bikes. Maybe an option, I'm not sure exactly how that works, but it is an OEM bar made for this bike. This is a Dart Flyscreen. It's the larger version they call the Marlin. I had the original smaller version initially on the bike, which worked well enough for blocking some wind, but they came out with this larger version, which I gladly bought and like it a lot. It's just enough to relieve some of that pressure on the chest when you're riding at 70-75 miles an hour, but you still get a lot of nice, clean, smooth air. These are chic design hand guards, mainly for the winter, but I've left them on for the summer because my hands don't really get hot with summer gloves. Staintune slip-on exhaust system. You'll hear that in a minute after I start it up. I'll give it a couple of blips before I take off, and then we'll see how the audio picks it up on this GoPro. What else? This is an not aftermarket, but this is actually from the 2014 Deluxe model, which only 2 of the bolts line up, but I've made a bracket to make the 3rd one line up. And if that picks it up, now the bike is a 6-speed. Not really, it's a 5-speed, but the 2014 models, they went with a 6-speed transmission, and that's just what the stamping on there says. So I joke around that I got the 6-speed upgrade for my bike. Aftermarket mirrors, chrome bar end weights from the Deluxe model, and these are rubber lever end thingies, or RLETs for short. Just something that the folks on the CB1100 forum have keyed into. It's actually a Honda part that you can order that is made to replace the plastic coated lever ends on some of the old CB750s and other CBs from that era, and they fit just fine on here. So looks cool, nice little retro touch. I've got those on my XL175 as well. Oh, last thing I forgot about, these are Ikon shocks. They've got 4-way rebound damping adjustment and then 3-way preload adjustment, kind of similar to the factory shocks, but the factories have 5 or 6 positions. That's the only thing I don't like about them. I wish they had a little bit more adjustability there, but I've got them at the stiffest setting. They're still pretty plush, much better than the stock shocks. So without further ado, I will jump on this thing, start it up. You can hear the exhaust. Nice mellow tone at idle. And I don't find it to be particularly loud at steady state cruise, just on the highway, especially because the wind noise drowns it out mostly. But it Doesn't have that muted sewing machine sound that the stock exhaust does. And away we go. Has some of the best brakes I have had on any motorcycle I've owned. Nice modulation, immediate bite when you get into the brake lever, and just two-finger brake. Love it. Wish my V-Strom was that good, because it has ABS and this doesn't. That's the only thing I wish this was the ABS version. Those are pretty hard to find. Here I'm on a 40-mile-an-hour road I'm about to turn onto, so I can't go too fast, but just to give you an idea. There's 50, second gear. Well, I shifted past second, but also like to knock the top speed on this bike. It's limited to 180 kilometers per hour. It's a Japanese market thing. It's 112 miles per hour. And I don't know why they didn't. I mean, for cost savings, that's why they didn't change that for other markets. But you don't need to go that fast. Show you how it lugs down. Well, maybe not. There we are. We're at 1,000 RPM. Of course, we're in a lower gear. I'm just going to short shift the hell out of it. That's 5th gear. Just pulled away from about 1,500 RPM. Like a boss. Don't even care. Great bike for just leaving in one gear, especially running some twisties. We've got a really nice road about 20 minutes from where I live that's popular with the supermoto guys and sport bike guys. They go through their crazy speeds. I enjoy going through the corners quickly, but I'm by no means a great rider in that regard. Need to take the advanced rider course, which teaches better skills. So but I just leave this thing in 3rd gear and it just pulls out of the corner at 2,000 RPM on 30-mile-an-hour corners, and it'll run up to speeds that are well over the speed limit of that road quite nicely and quite quickly. Just leave it in 3rd and go. It's fun. And if you're wondering why I'm not cutting up through the side of these vehicles to turn right, I don't always like to do that. I've had people around here, they get PO'd. They'll even try to pull the front end of their vehicle over to block you. I don't get it. I mean, who cares if I'm moving by just to make a right turn? I'm not hurting anybody. But here in Texas, lane splitting and such is not legal, although it's not explicitly legal anywhere in the U.S., though you folks in California get to enjoy some liberties without getting messed with too much, particularly if you're doing it in a safe and responsible manner, not like the squids do it. trying to add more videos, and what in the hell is this person doing? Anyway, see you later.